In the quiet rural village of Ballyvadlea, County Tipperary, in 1895, a story unfolded that shook Ireland to its core. A young woman murdered by her own family because they believed she wasn't really herself anymore. Her name was Bridget Cleary, 26 years old, independent, smart, a seamstress who kept hens, sold eggs, and even owned a sewing machine, a sign of modern ambition in old rural Ireland. But the very things that made her stand out also made her a target. In early March of 1895, Bridget fell ill. Some say it was bronchitis, others believed it was simply exhaustion, but her husband, Michael Cleary, noticed she was behaving strangely, sleeping more, speaking sharply, refusing food. To him, she didn't seem like the woman he'd married. Old Irish folklore still ran deep in those hills, stories of fairies, changelings, and spirits that stole people away. And Michael became convinced that the sick woman in his home was not Bridget, but a fairy changeling left in her place. Instead of seeking a doctor, Michael turned to superstition. Over several days, he and other family members performed rituals, forcing herbs into her, shouting prayers, shaking her violently, demanding she say her name to prove she was human. Bridget grew weaker, confused, terrified. On the night of March 15th, everything spiraled into violence. Michael demanded again, "Are you Bridget Cleary? Are you my wife?" Her voice was faint, her body trembling from fever and exhaustion. "Yes," she whispered, "I'm Bridget." But Michael didn't believe her. In a frenzy, he threw her onto the kitchen floor. The others held her down. They forced more herbs into her mouth. When she choked and screamed, Michael shouted that the fairy inside her was resisting. He dragged Bridget to the fireplace, held her over the flames. Witnesses later said she pleaded for mercy. But Michael was certain he was driving the fairy out. Bridget's dress caught fire. Within minutes, she was dead. The next morning, the family told neighbors they had driven the fairy away. Michael insisted that his real wife would return, riding out of the ring fort on a white horse at midnight. But Bridget never returned. Her burned body was found buried in a shallow grave days later. The trial gripped the entire country. Newspapers all over Europe reported it with disbelief. Ireland's last witch burning. Michael Cleary was sentenced to 20 years of penal servitude. Others received shorter sentences for their roles in the rituals. But the truth was undeniable. Bridget Cleary died because old superstition collided with modern life, and she stood in the middle. Today, a quiet memorial stands near where her cottage once was. Locals say that on cold spring nights, when the wind blows through the hedges, you can almost hear her voice, soft, frightened, asking the same question she asked that final night. "Do you believe I am your wife?"